in the addiction world, they say that addictions are not a quitting problem, they're a starting problem. That every addict has probably quit numerous times. But the problem is that they start again. And even a part of the addictive cycle often can involve the quitting. You know, how many times back when people had their porn stash on DVDs or even stored up on floppy disk or whatever, how many times have guys thrown out the magazines, thrown out the VHS, thrown out the floppy disks, thrown out the DVDs, all, and then to later go digging through the garbage to find them again, or go into the, back then when you used to go to the video store to get the VHS, you go buy another one. It's a starting problem. And one of the things I've found is that I think pretty much every guy I've ever talked to believes they'll quit at some point. They'll quit when they get a girlfriend. They'll quit when, they get married. They'll quit when this happens down the road. And I think another thing that porn can do well is create an intimacy buffer for men who are inherently afraid of intimacy, which is most of us, really. Most of us don't grow up super comfortable with intimacy. We think we may want a girlfriend. We think we may want to, get married. We may think these things, and when we do, right? But my doctorate is in marriage and family therapy, so I've worked with, countless couples. I've been in a number of relationships myself. All of us do something that I call, we create an intimacy comfort zone, or we could call it the intimacy discomfort zone, where, a man and a woman, two men, two women, whatever, get together, and together they co-create a certain amount of space between them that feels comfortable and manageable. Now, what happens if they actually get too close, too intimate, too real, too vulnerable, too available? That's going to scare one or both of them enough that they'll find a way to kind of push it away again, right? And if it gets too far apart, that feels uncomfortable too, because now they'll go, the one with the anxiety attachment issue will probably start chasing and pursuing. And if one of them has an avoidant issue, they'll start. But what we all do is we find that zone of comfort, right? That's comfortable. We're not too close to feel too vulnerable and afraid of being found out. And we're not too far apart to fear that we're about to get abandoned or lose what we've got. And it's very unconscious. Again, it's on a thermostat, and there's two people co-creating it together. We often think, well, it's their fault. No, it's two people co-creating. That's kind of the basic rule of marriage therapy, couples therapy. It takes two to co-create that system, and both people must need it to exist that way, or it wouldn't exist. Now, what I found is that for men, porn can be a great way of creating that buffer. Like, for example, I've known guys that, said they wanted to date, said they wanted a girlfriend, said they wanted to have sex, and we went to work on those issues. But as long as they kind of had porn going in the background, that they never actually dove in to these other things. And maybe if they did get a girlfriend, they kind of kept her at a distance, or they'd keep going from woman to woman. And usually there's a twofold fear to it. One is the fear that if I actually get a girlfriend, I'm going to have to give up my porn. Because I think most guys probably do believe that. Yeah, if I have a girlfriend, I won't need porn. And she's probably going to expect me to give it up, because I'm not going to tell her I look at porn, because most men don't do that. And the other thing is, and maybe this was you when your girlfriend moved in with you, is that, if she moves in with me, or if we get married, or if she has close proximity or access to me, she might find my porn, or it will limit my ability to use it whenever I want, because she'll be around. And how can I sneak off and use it whenever I want? If, I got to make sure she's watching her show, or she's on the phone, I'll go sneak away and use it then. So porn can create a beautiful, effective intimacy buffer, either in terms of, if I get in a relationship, I'm going to have to quit my porn. So I'll just look at porn another day or two and avoid getting in a relationship another day or two. Or once we're in a relationship, I can't let her get too close. I can't let her find out, my secrets. So it's a great way to buffer intimacy. And again, we might not think of it in those ways. We just think, this helps me get off. But I'm going to say that, I'm going to keep going back. I think porn use is often metaphorical. It's usually not about sex. It's about something other than sex. It just uses sex as its driver, the thing that makes it so intense. But I think it's either, again, It's a way to feel bad about ourselves. It's a way to protect ourselves from intimacy. It probably serves any number of other roles as well that have nothing or little to do with sex.
That's that famous John Eldredge quote from Wild at Heart is pornography is so dangerous and addictive to men today because it will give a man everything that he desires from a woman without requiring anything of him as a man. That buffer that you're speaking there is I can get the sex, the release, the now in today's world, the emotional connection through things like OnlyFans and webcam, right? I can actually feel like I have a back and forth conversation and relationship on an intimate level with some of these women. And I don't have to show up as a man and be a provider. I don't have to show up as a man and be a protector. I can get all this without stepping into any type of identity of a real masculine man.
Throw AI into that mix as well.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things about, I think there's a lot of things problematic about AI, the whole different interview. But one of them, surprisingly, is how syncopatic it is of how it is programmed to treat you well and make you feel good and special and smart. And I was talking to, I won't mention the name, but he's my financial advisor. And he's in his 70s and he's a big AI fan, has been forever. And on a call the other day, he asked his AI chat GBT, I think he pays like $200 a month for whatever program he has, a question. And I tell you what, the voice he had set up and the personality of his AI bot was this cutesy, chirpy young woman's voice, just playful and fun. And that's such a great question. You know what? And I'm thinking, and I even told him, I said, that is syncopatic as hell. And I said, I bet that person, that voice, that cutesy, sexy little girl voice on your AI probably treats you better than any other human being in your life. And you know what? That's a growing issue with AI is that for people, I've heard that, like maybe for an old isolated person that isn't around people, having an AI companion can be a nice thing in the end of your years. But you know what? If you're 22, 25, 60, 70, and you're more and more and more going to an AI companion because they treat you better, it's easier than dealing with real live human beings. I mean, they talk nice to you. And even some of the AI programs, they've had to actually dial them back to where they're not so syncopatic, where actually they would probably be better for us if they sounded more like robots, kind of with a digitalized voice, rather than these sweet, cutesy little girl voices that, oh yeah, I love talking to my AI companion. And in a way, I don't know that's any different than porn. I think it's avoiding, real connection with other people. We're getting some basic needs met without really having to open up and risk and be vulnerable. And it's all coming from a fucking machine. It's a bunch of ones and zeros. So, and just wait till AI takes over the porn industry. I'm sure it's on its way.
Yeah, we just did a great conversation with, I don't know if you're, Larry Hagner from the Dad Edge. We just dove deep into deep fakes and how it's hijacking and infiltrating homes.